Hey everyone, it's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. Today on the show, we have our very good friends, our brothers in arms, Marshall and Ezra Kelly. How are y'all?
We're well. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm playing with the word comrade, but I couldn't find it for a second there. So instead of saying you guys or hey sirs or thank you sir or whatever, I just want to go comrade. It seems like a good term.
I like that. I like that. Very gender neutral.
Yeah. Well, that's been part of the problem is that I can get pronouns pretty good, but then I have problems with formalities like thank you sir and thank you miss and stuff like that, and I'll screw it up. And then there's not a good them and they, but comrade seems to be a good one.
Yeah, that definitely is a good one. I hear folks too. Oh, folks, yeah.
Yeah,
it sounds important.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It feels forced. I feel like it's what white people, when they feel woke, they say black folks. Yeah. And it bothers me for some reason. I don't know. But I'll come around. I'll learn and I'll be smarter next time someone asks me this question. But that's my initial reaction. So yeah, I know that most people know you in the world. Like you're super famous and all of that, but would you mind, like my crowd might not know you, would you mind telling us something about yourselves and about what your project is and all of that?
We're a electronic duo and we're called Nonbinary. We're also identical twins, and we do a lot of musical projects and visual art projects that like kind of mend together.
Yeah, we're mainly artists, but also just like activists and for like literally everything that you should be an activist for, like mental health and, you know, just trying to like stay woke and shit for the trans community, for the LGBT, for the black community, for everyone. And yeah, we're just some people on the internet.
We're e-boys.
We're e-boys.
So who's Marshall and who's Ezra?
I'm Ezra.
I'm Marshall.
That did not help at all. No. Let everyone know that you're Ezra. I know who's Ezra.
I am Ezra Kelly. I was born 6 minutes after Marshall.
So there you go, in case you can't tell them apart. It took me forever, especially back in the skateboard days.
Yeah.
It took me forever.
Yeah, it's how old are we now? It's been like 12 years.
Yeah, it's been like 12 years, but you pretty much got it down now.
We got face tats for you.
Yeah, we got the face tats just so you can tell us apart.
I know. I appreciate it a lot. It's been helpful. But when you don't wear your masks, when you do wear your masks, remember I screwed up the other day?
Yeah,
that's funny. I didn't notice.
All right, okay, so what project are you working on with Nonbinary right now?
We're working on our second album, and it's going to be called The Mockery of Me. And I'm really excited. We're both really excited about that. And it has a lot of, like, it's the mockery of me, basically, because with our performance that is non-binary, we've been told a lot that it's a lot like a fringe act, and I didn't know what that was at first, but it's very fringe-esque, where like we'll be like having like costumes and stuff like that, so it will be like mimes and stuff like that would be an actual fringe act or in a carnival or a circus, like freak show. And it's a lot because a lot of our music, at least especially when I'm writing, I feel like I write about kind of from a standpoint that I'm making fun of myself. Like, you have to laugh about it. You know what I mean? Like when you don't like something about yourself or something, you have to kind of understand that life is kind of funny. And then if you mock yourself, it's kind of feels less bad when other people mock you. So I like to feel embarrassed out on stage. I mean, that's why you go and do something in front of everyone. So, like, I don't know, I like the Mockery of Me because I feel like most of our art is portraying a mockery in some sense, but you don't have to take that in a negative way. And I like to make it a fun thing for us to cope with, like, everything, I guess.
Yeah, I think like this album, opposed to our last one, is just more of like a narrative and like has more of a story to it, as opposed to our last one, which was just the most fun we've ever had in our lives.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
So I really like, kind of that philosophy of being uncomfortable and kind of stretching yourself, right? It's that's how you grow, that's how you learn. But I never knew that before. I never knew, like, I'm thinking of the times when I've seen you on stage, and were you trying to be uncomfortable? Were you? Is that like putting yourself out there?
I think for me, more than Ezra, I'm just naturally uncomfortable. Like I get really nervous before we play any shows or like do any sort of performance. And Ezra, I think, usually is very good at making me like come out of that. And I don't know. I think like a lot of people have actually told us that our shows are like puppet shows, and I feel like that's kind of like it. Like I don't know. It connects to me how it's like I'm uncomfortable, but I'm like having basically Ezra as the puppeteer, like helping me like to like move and do everything I need to do to like make the performance what we want it to be.
And it's, for me, like Marshall says, they naturally feel uncomfortable. I think I feel natural when I feel uncomfortable. So it comes off as more natural. Like actually, and because when I'm performing, like I may seem comfortable in a performance of but to me in my mind, I guess I'm sort of mocking every feeling I've ever had. Like it doesn't matter, as if I'm somebody portraying myself, I guess, or a feeling that I felt unheard or misunderstood. I'll put that into music because hopefully someone can listen to it that's laying in their bed like I was at 13 and really sad and just had music to listen to, and like the Pink Floyd The Wall record that you and Shannon gave me and stuff like that. Like I would literally just like listen to Pink Floyd, and like I just felt uncomfortable, and it was a hard thing to understand why. Like I would just wonder why I had to be born who I was, and like I didn't really understand why. But I don't know. I think that definitely, like we mock ourselves by like I'll just act like over dramatic. I'm too much. I overdo it. I feel too much emotion, so I have to have somewhere to express that. And to me, it feels like I'm mocking myself because I'll act as if I'm the victim of myself.
I feel like also just like our like a lot of people have told us that like when seeing our performance, it's like almost shocking to them just how much emotion that we portray, and like that to me is no performance. Like it's all completely real. Like, and I don't feel that way always when I'm just listening to the music that I create. It's like when I start performing it, like I'll like actually like get incredibly emotional, like very much. So
you have to dive right into it. You have to like sort
put yourself back in the headspace of when you're creating it.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you perform, and when's the last time you performed?
The last time
I performed during the quarantine once for a live, like online show, but the last time
I performed, I think, was at the Fledge last summer, and the last time we performed together
was Pierce Fest.
Really?
Was it? Oh no, in Ann Arbor.
Really?
Yeah, in Ann Arbor in
oh yeah, was it like a music festival?
In May of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We performed together, and I performed at the Fledge for an open mic right before the quarantine, like in March or February, with Drew and Andy Fox and stuff.
Yeah. Did you both perform at the Blind Pig?
We did. Yeah, that was in 2018. Like I think like October, September 2018. Yeah.
I was super excited about that show because Kurt Cobain has played there.
I know. I just read an article. I think they're closing.
No,
sad.
Oh, that's so
That's
sad.
insane.
I would not.
Yeah.
We should make it another Fledge.
Yep.
That'd be awesome. Fledge Ann Arbor would be awesome.
That would be
so I want to spend wow, man, there's so many things I want to ask you. So, I feel like I know you guys really well, but I feel like I don't know you at all too, right? Because we have that kind of relationship. We go back a long way.
Yeah.
And we go back a long way to when you were young and I was an adult. So there's this, kid adult relationship that is like with Raven and Rain.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell me everything, right? You guys aren't going to tell me everything. We're not besties like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Tell you more than I'll tell my parents, but
yeah.
Yeah. So there's this whole secret world, that I don't know about, but then there's other little things like the Mockery thing. I often wonder, you guys say you're identical twins, but is there also a yin yang thing happening?
Entire.
Yeah.
Like we've considered doing like all black, all white because we feel that way so much.
And we've done that before actually. And also me and Ezra were just recently talking about that we both I don't know if this is even necessarily what you're talking about, but we are never in the same part of life at the same time. Like literally,
one of us is always
this sounds so emo, but either I'm in emotional turmoil and Ezra's doing well, or the opposite. We're always which works out better for us because then one of us is always there to keep the other one
alive.
It
also works well for our art because one of us is usually creating.
Yeah.
Especially in emotional turmoil because if we are what should we do? The other one will be well, life does really suck. It really, 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 truly does sometimes, and you could make art about it.
Yeah.
Or
then there's one person to be putting so much emotion into what they're creating, and then there's one person to focus more on making everything as good as it can be, and during normal times, and setting up shows or doing the business side of everything.
Yeah, and then the creative.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I want to talk about the business side of everything, but I have one more question that might lead us that way. When you've heard the phrase, our strength is in our differences, and that's a big, belief in the Fledge is that our diversity and our differences is what makes us strong and makes us prepared for so many things. What are some of your differences between the two of you that make you stronger together?
I think the way one thing that just comes to mind immediately is the way that we connect with people and differently. Me and Ezra were literally just talking about this the other day, how people will tell both of us obviously separately, oh, I don't know why I'm just closer to you than I am to Ezra, or I don't know why, but I'm just closer to you than I am to Marshall. And it's just the way that we connect with those people as opposed to the other one. But all these people, obviously they do care about us both. We just have the people that we're closer to.
We'll have more of a naturally flowing we'll have more naturally flowing conversations with certain people. There's certain people I feel we're just thinking in one consciousness while we're talking. Mm-hmm. And then they might be close to Marshall, but it's not on that level, and Marshall might be what the hell are they doing when we're doing that?
I think that the huge thing is just the way that we connect with people. And God, I was just thinking of another thing
I
too.
think also
the way that we connect with ourselves and everything too, though.
Well, we have our astrological birth charts. We have all the same signs, but we're 1 degree entirely off. So our houses are shifted, which makes our creative processes different. Mm-hmm. So my creative process is obsessive and really constant, but it's which sometimes I'm that's awesome, and other times I'm this is the worst because it's super overwhelming to only have that to have as an outlet very well for me. But Marshall, once they they'll go through a whole cycle before they can get to a point of them actually creating a song or a piece, but they'll have all of this build up until that, which will make it fantastic. And I feel I make a lot of songs that I feel really connected to and stuff like that. But then when they make a song, it's just I just can't believe how fantastic it will turn out because I'll be you haven't been practicing. I
think that it's like quantity versus quality in a way, like not like, because like Ezra makes obviously like really good quality music. I like Ezra's own music more than I like mine, but like I think that they make a lot more before they put out an album, and they like choose what they like the best. And for me, it's more like, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not going to write anything down. I'm just going to put it in, like just record it into my computer. And then that's what my album is. That's all I'm using. Like that is how I'm feeling. And that's what I need everyone to know that I'm feeling. And that's what I feel like other people can relate to that I'm feeling. As opposed to when I'm not in the creative process as much. And I'm just like, okay, like, what do I even like sing about, or what do I write about? Like, I don't have anything that's like stirring in my brain so much that I need to get it out to people. And as more just like constant making everything.
It's, I have to get it out of me. I would like for other people to hear it a lot of the time.
So I'm gonna switch away from the creative side a little bit. And you guys said the word business. Let's talk about the business of what you do. I'm gonna leave it like that. Tell me something about the business of what you do.
I think about this a lot, actually. And I think that with business, at least for me, I wouldn't necessarily, I don't think that has to be linked to like money in any way. But I think that like for me, like in our business, what it is like kind of not life coach, but like sort of on that track where I feel like the connection that we make to people that we meet through all of it is kind of what the whole idea of having it is. Like kind of why we keep, like what keeps people engaged or whatever is because like we genuinely do connect to people. It's not like we just do it for that.
I feel like also just like our, like on the business side of everything that we do, we're far more concerned with doing that in the best way possible, that like in ways that we don't understand. Like for like the creative side, then it's like very much just like what we think is the best, what we want, what we enjoy. And then like for the business side, like it's very much like reaching out to other people and like asking them questions so that we can write down everything that everyone tells us and figure out our own way to do it in like the best way. Like people who we feel have been more successful than us in the creative industries. Yeah. And yeah, the business side is more, I think, difficult for me to like wrap my head around, but also I feel like the business side is something that like we are trying to understand more and just focus on a lot more than we have in the past too.
I know that when I use terms like the business side or entrepreneurial or whatever, a lot of people out in the community think I'm just this capitalist pig that's in it for the money. But you guys know me, and you know that that's not how I am. And really, sorry, wasn't fishing for that. And what I see is that you guys are on a mission. Right. And you've got this mission that you're trying to do. And there are certain things that you have to do on the creative side to make that mission happen. But there are also things you need to do on the marketing side, on the gathering of resource side. You have to fund your rent somehow, your cigarette habit, you know, all of these things. So there's a sustainability aspect to it as well. What would you say your mission is? And do you remember when you guys were super famous?
I think that my mission is mainly to be content and to show other people that it's possible, even if you have extreme impulse and extreme explosive emotion, or like just stuff from PTSD and trauma from childhood. But I do specifically think a lot, like I guess I would say, like I would picture somebody, I don't know, I honestly, I make it for people, like for teenagers that are really sad. Like I just want them to know something. I just want to make a sound, and I want the frequency to feel comforting to them. I want it to actually just make them feel comforted or like unalone, or like they relate to it. I want them to feel like somebody understands them when they don't feel like that they have that.
I mean, I think that like, yeah, I don't think that like for me, like my mission has ever changed. Like when we were like 8 years old is when we really like started talking to each other about how we wanted to be musicians, and that was what we wanted to do. And we did that because of the way that we connected with the lyrics and stuff of the songs that we were listening to at 8 years old. Like, being like, oh, like this emotion that this person is portraying, it helps me feel like I'm normal. It helps me feel like I'm safe. And like the person that we like we're looking up to is still the same, was Davey Havoc from AFI. And at the time in like 2006, he looked very feminine. And us as little girls that wanted to be boys, that was like so inspiring to us. Like, okay, so there are adults that they can show themselves like the true way that they want to. Like there's no like gender, especially like that has to go with it. It's just whatever you want to look like, whatever you want to present yourself as, that's important. And that through that, I think my mission has always just been that I wanted to give that to other people, is that they could see that you can be unapologetically yourself, and that there is someone who understands and like can put your thoughts into words.
And also that the fight for that is, you know, in the weirdest way, it feels really horrible, but the fight for it makes it so rewarding once you have it. It's so fantastic. And it's, I don't know, I wouldn't change my life at all. And so I don't want people to be sitting there wishing that they could change theirs all the time. Granted, not knowing what people's lives are like, but
yeah. The when you two sat on that couch in the other Fledge, and you told that story, and then you told your story, and it just blew up on YouTube. That's when I understood how you guys were guiding people down a path, and you were showing them that it can be safe and that it's going to be okay, and that there's similar steps to be taken, but to do it and figure it out. Mm-hmm. That was incredible. That must have, I've never had anything that big. What did that feel like?
That was, God, that was like, I don't know. I remember like that we were like really excited to do that because like other than just speaking to like our friends that we were very close to, we never really had a chance to like put it out there so much, like as to how it all really feels, like as to how it all really felt, even like before we understood what it was we were feeling. And there's actually been multiple people who have told us that after they saw that video, they came out as trans
or
and, like,
non-binary,
and like that they realized, like, because something I know that I said in that video was like, it got to a point for me where I was like, oh, well, like, I don't know. I don't feel like a girl, but I don't know if I feel like a boy. I don't know if I feel non-binary. I don't know what I feel. And I was just like, well, I guess it doesn't fucking matter, because if I feel this way tomorrow, then I can tell people I feel that way. And if I feel this way the next day, I can tell people again, actually, this is how I feel. And you can continuously like grow and progress as a person and tell people how you want to be respected and treated.
And because everything is fluid, and like for anyone to deny that is just like ignorant. Like how, like everything is fluid. You might like, I mean, people change sports teams that they root for, you know, like, and that's like crazy to me, because they'll be like Die Hard, but like you can change anything. Your favorite band can change, and if anything can change, then anything about you can change, because it's just how you feel. And
I guess like
everything is just
like,
in a moment.
What like you're saying is like it's okay to be a fair weather fan of yourself. Like you can, oh, like this is who I am, and this, like, I feel like I have won because I'm here now. But then you can be like, actually, I could see a version of myself that's going to be far more like genuine and happy and true to themselves. So I'm gonna be a fair weather fan and go be that person now. Like, you know, like, and like, obviously, like that's like, I think such like a stupid term, but it's like,
I think
that's what it is.
Part of everything too is like, especially like even when we were making those videos, like we were so focused on like for so long being so focused on like not the shadow side of you, but like who you are, I guess. Like your true self is very important, but to also accept the other parts of you, like the shadow, is important. I think since learning that, I would say like it's also like important to make sure you grieve who you were once you come out and remember that person. And like I would say horrible things about my past self, like, oh, like she was so ugly and all these horrible things. But like I was already doing that in my head to myself while I felt that way. And so like once I realized kind of that was like messed up for me to be continuing to do to myself for no reason, like I try to catch myself when I do things like that more, or I try to catch other people when they say things like that too, and say like, hey, you shouldn't like shame yourself, especially your past, because it's nothing you can change now. And I think it's important too.
Are you guys at peace with those former selves, or is that still a journey that it's going to take some time?
I am I don't know if I'm at peace. I don't resent who I was. I love, actually, sometimes I feel like in a weird way, we have this internal family that's the different parts of us. And like, she was my mother. Like she is who nurtured me and kept me here and kept me safe and told me it would be okay and that I would be who I'm going to be. And like, that's really how I think about it a lot. And it's really kind of weird, but it's like kind of probably my mom's consciousness in my head or something. But like my experience then felt so different that I think it made me a way better person. I never wanted to be seen, so I wanted everybody else to be. And I like having many perspectives of life and seeing it from different, like the fact that I'm okay with being on camera now.
And you're always behind the camera.
Yeah, it's like it's beautiful for me to be in front of it, and that makes me feel really good. But I reflect a lot on never wanting that and how blessed I was to have had that, to understand many other parts of it.
I think for me, like, it's like I just feel like a more evolved version of that person. Like, I feel like I always had like the same capabilities of like caring about others and stuff like that, but that now it's easier for me to care about myself and to see myself as who I am, instead of being like, you know, like me and Ezra would literally be like so young, like 7, 8 years old, like praying to God every night that we would wake up and just be boys, and that our whole life would have just been that we would have just been boys. And like, I guess just getting to that evolved point in my life where I was like, oh no, actually, no one can tell me who the fuck I am. No one can tell me what the fuck I am. Only I can do that. Like, no matter who in my life would want to walk away because they didn't accept that or they didn't support it, then they can walk away and I'll still be okay, because I still have the people who do support it. Like, you know, like I always have Ezra, I always have Jerry, I always have Shannon, I always have the people that I know will support me through literally anything. I always have Katie and Skylar.
And Storm and Saint, love you.
All right, so I'm going to switch to the every damn day. What's something, well, first of all, you guys kind of, weren't we in Tampa together and it said every damn day on that wall?
Yeah.
What's that called? Skate spot of Tampa or something?
The
skate park at Tampa, yeah, where they do Tampa Pro.
Yeah, Bo Kirby and I were just talking about that the other day too. Yeah, he did a show. You should watch it. It's interesting. And you see, I got my skate war shirt.
I did. Yeah, I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So, what's something you do every damn day that pushes that mission forward, or just keeps you healthy and sane and strong and whatever? What's just something you do every damn day?
Play piano.
You play piano?
I have to do something creative, but I think playing piano is what, like, if I could say, like, wakes me up, wakes up my creativity. It feels really good.
For me, I would say that every damn day I consider how my life affects others.
And
that's
good.
Yeah.
So Chris Pruitt, Andrew, and Omar are all commenting right now. Chris Pruitt said he needs a twin and that he's jealous of how content you guys are. Omar just says Aquarius. And
Aquarius.
Then Andrew said that he misses and loves you guys.
We
miss and love you. And we miss and love all of you.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that people always have said that to us our whole life too. What Chris said, like that they want a twin and that they're jealous. But I
would be jealous too, honestly. Though I don't know how to live without one.
I don't either. But I think that it's a funny thing to say, because I don't think that they know at all what they're asking for.
Mm-hmm. You're asking for
a lot.
It's like being in like the most
long-term relationship.
Unstable, but also like loving and caring relationship for your entire life.
No one else will ever know you that well, and that's a weird thing. It like every part of it has pros and cons, I think. But I think that it teaches you how to love someone else before you learn how to love yourself. And I think that can be definitely a beautiful and amazing experience, but definitely also not the greatest when you learn to love someone else and not yourself.
Yeah. And then also I would say that my favorite part about being a twin, I know this wasn't even the question, but my favorite part is that I think that my memory of my whole life is better because I can always remember seeing Ezra there.
Me too. Eddie, like I'll have flashbacks and it won't be scary. It'll just be Marshall's baby face. Like and I'll be like, remember what they're wearing. It's so weird.
And just also being able to see Ezra, like, you know, like we were saying, like to grow into yourself is like the best feeling. Oh God, it's making me emotional. But like watching Ezra grow into themselves it feels even better.
It's so wild
to like see them how they always saw themselves, and I could see them that way too.
Yeah,
and to know that like no matter what, like we always had each other.
It literally feels surreal to see it come to life, especially with two of you. I feel like though, because you're like looking in the mirror and then you're like, "What the fuck?" Like it's
as you know, as an outsider, obviously, and seeing snapshots, it's been a lot of fun to watch. All right, so. Yesterday we had Elias, who is Theoretical Tech is the name of his company. I think he's a really interesting guy. He wanted to ask, what do you guys do to get ready to prepare for doing your art, whether it's performing or painting or drawing or whatever? You got a ritual?
For our performance, it's different than
our creating, but our performance, like I said earlier, I think I'm usually like extremely nervous beforehand,
and I'm always like, why are you nervous?
And Ezra will take me to wherever we are at. We'll either go in the bathroom to use the mirror in the bathroom, or we usually have a mirror with us before we perform, and we'll look into the mirror, but we'll look into each other's eyes through the mirror, and we'll just look literally sometimes for like 20 minutes straight before we walk out until they say like, okay, like non-binary. And then we walk out. And we always do that because
they were just nervous once. And I was like, this is what I do. Yeah. I just look into my own pupils and you can see your own reflection in your own pupils. And I think that's so amazing because you can see it change too, your whole life in the same pupil. Mm-hmm. And that's so fucking sweet. And, but to see it in somebody else's pupil is so, like, even, I don't know, sometimes you can just see a mirror frame in the pupil of Marshall's eyes or something if I was looking through theirs. But if you can see yourself or them in them too, I don't know. It's really like, it's just a deep connection.
It's like a meditation.
It's extremely meditative. Mm-hmm. And we would put it on our laps and look down so that you can't, like, you just see a ceiling above you.
Yeah, you don't see anyone behind you. You don't see anything else.
But for my art and everything for me, when we're not performing too, is usually... if I don't do something with my reflection, it's never, ever the same. It's always best when I have my reflection. So like, even that's why I like to go to coffee shops because they have 1-person bathrooms. So if I have to, I can go for 5 minutes and dance in the bathroom. Like I like to dance and see myself, remind myself that I'm real, that I'm a person that moves, that other people can see. That's very comforting to me. And to see a reflection that I'm pleased with, being able to live and do those things, it's just amazing. It's like all I could ever ask for.
And for my creative, like just like actually creating something, I feel like it's more of just complete brutal honesty with myself, to prepare myself, like to like whatever I'm making it, I want it to sound like what I'm hearing in my brain, whether that's like actually the instruments or the words that I'm saying.
All right. Chris said something I thought was pretty sweet. Is that to always know that someone's there, that you're not forever alone, you know?
That is true. I feel like
I just said to my mom the other day that sometimes we will be with our friends or something and we will both walk away together only, and we'll look at each other and we'll just say, like 3 times we'll say, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. And and I told my mom, I said, we're only truly alone when we're together.
It's really weird. Really weird. And alone together, like,
Yeah.
and then like we're like every time we're kind of like, oh my god, like what the fuck is going? It's like in a TV show, like you come back and it's like, you know, like
you always have the one thing to see. You always have the one person with you, and even like for Chris specifically, I mean, it's like we were like actually I remember when we had this realization is when we were homeless, living in my car, and we were sitting in a Meyer parking lot in Grand Ledge, and I looked at Ezra and I just said, it's crazy because no matter what, my whole life, you're the only person I'll ever actually have fully forever.
Yeah. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's like, oh,
why not anyone else?
Couldn't have had. It's
all right. So, sorry. Go ahead.
It's like from the womb to the tomb was all I was gonna say.
From the cradle to the casket.
I love you guys.
We love you so much, Jerry.
So tomorrow we've got Metro Malik Brown, Lansing Maid on the show. And what question would you like me to pass on to him from you?
I want to know what high school he went to in Lansing.
And I want to know his favorite part of the Lansing community.
Okay. And what high school did you all go to?
Hazlitt.
We went to Hazlitt. We dropped out and got our GEDs.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's a good path for
that was
a lot of people.
Definitely
your former teacher, I don't know if he was your teacher, but Brian Town.
Oh, Brian Town. We didn't have Mr. Town.
Yeah. He was on the show a month or so ago.
Oh,
Michigan
really?
Creative, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you were gonna ask about Bart. Rest in peace. Great human.
Yeah, he is a great human, and that was sad that Bart passed.
He loved us too.
Yeah, we love Bart Wojcinki.
I think that he was on your guys' side for sure.
Always on our side.
He was.
So, and he is a great human, or was a great human being. So.
He's also a twin.
Yep, he is a twin, and I went to high school with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with his brother Brett. So, so what's your guys' favorite part about Lansing?
The community.
The community.
What's that mean to you?
Everything. It's like I was just living in Los Angeles for 9 months last year, and the one thing I was lacking that made me feel full as a human was a community, and just to have, you know, it's like we were just saying, like always having one person near you or like having one person for you. Like in Lansing, I feel like you have everyone for you. You have everyone around you, and like no one's gonna let you fall.
Everyone belongs somewhere here. That's like, yeah. And I felt the same way when I moved away. I felt I couldn't have a sense of reality without community. And not that there's not community in Brooklyn, there definitely is, but I don't know, there's something about Lansing that's so genuine.
So one of you went to LA, one of you went to Brooklyn, the most exciting places in the world, right?
Yeah.
But you came back. Was that for you guys? Was it for Lansing? Was it for everything?
For me, it was not a choice. Really, it was partially a choice, kind of, but it was sort of forced on me to move home. And I was scared to be a failure, I think. But I was very comforted by the fact that the only thing that comforted me was that I was coming back to the Fledge and to the community in Lansing and on the east side of Lansing specifically. When we moved here 5 years ago, we would have never imagined how much progress. I couldn't have imagined any place could make as much progress in 5 years, just community based is what I'm talking. It's just beautiful and amazing in my opinion. And it's very home-like and you feel valued.
For me, it was a choice, and I was trapped in a very toxic, like isolating situation. And I remember saying over and over to everyone I talked to that the reason I was coming home was for community. And that's not me or myself, that's for all of it. Like it's not for me or anyone else, it's for everyone.
I was sobbing when they were moving away. I went to take them to the airport, and I just kept saying the whole time, I'm like, don't worry, if you have to move home, it will be okay. I promise. It won't feel okay, but it will be okay.
I always felt like you guys were scouts. You were going to wherever you were going to go. You were going to scout it out for us for as long as it took. And that could be a year or 5 years or 20 years. But I always felt like I would see you again. I always had that hope, and that you'd come home and make our community smarter and better and stronger. And all my dreams came true when you both came back.
And I think that's like interesting, because I think a lot too that it would be nice to, if I don't want to move, I want to home base in Lansing forever. And at 23, I've decided that. But I want to do that where I go to other places. Maybe I lived in Brooklyn for 5 months. I think that's a pretty good period of time. But like just a few months, up to 6 months, a year, I think it would be fun to go live in one or a few other places to do kind of something like that, or to build more community centers like the Fledge.
Yeah. So, I showed that was possible when I was going to Dubai and all the time.
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun to leave everybody all the time. But it would be if I was, without kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, do that, but stay centered here. It's a cheap place to live. It's going to be where the OPEC of water is. All of that.
Extremely, extremely happy and proud to be from Lansing and to remain here.
I love it.
All these Love Lansing people are going to love the end of this interview. So take us out. Take me out with something. This is the longest show we've ever done.
Should we do the Brady Bunch theme song?
I think the only thing we should take it out with is just most of like what we've been talking about is just like be true to yourself, be genuine to yourself, love yourself, and love those around you, and understand how important community is for yourself and for everyone else around you.
Get involved with community, because if you want things to change, that's where you have to start.
And I'm going to throw one more thing out there. Vote. Get out there and vote.
And not for Trump.
And not for Trump. We need to get this jackass out of here.
And not for Kanye either.
You vote for Kanye.
Did you see my post this morning? All right. Love y'all. Thanks for being on the show. Every damn day. Oops, you're welcome. Every damn day airs every damn day at 2. What is it? A week from Sunday or something? We've got another 99 Problems, but a pitch ain't one. Tomorrow afternoon, we've got 10,000 Fledges. Check that out. Raven's saying she loves you guys. And
I love you, Raven.
We're going to go out with a lot of love. See y'all later.
Later.